example, Metropolitan Philaret, the Holy One, who's in that photograph there with the red border around it, yes. He's very dedicated cell attendant, Protodeacon Nikita, virtually gave his life to look after him. If he was sick, for example, and was in hospital, the Protodeacon would sleep on the floor next to him just to protect him. That was the dedication that he had to him. Because in those days, which was the Cold War, there were many enemies around in various ways. Some of them right in the midst of the administrative centres. And anyway, I remember one Saturday, Father Nikita said to me, let's go into downtown, which was in New York. So he drove this big Cadillac, parked at Wall Street, just near the stock exchange, which is on the border of the rag trade in New York. And he said, sit in the car. I'll be back soon. There's a non-parking area, but if you're sitting in there, apparently in those days they didn't do anything. So I sat there for about an hour. And he's coming back with a big pile of vestment material, with a big smile on his face. And he says, oh, I got what I wanted. And I said, what did you want? He said, well, I wanted to get all this vestment. I got it at half price. How did you get it at half price? Well, the person who I was buying it from, this Jewish man, wouldn't give it to me until I told him that I'm going to tell your rabbi that you're working on a Saturday. So for half price. You know, things like that. Another time, the Metropolitan loved to go fishing when he had a spare time, and he did not have a license, so he had to get a license. And he sent the deacon off. Well, he said to the deacon, you can't get me a license because you're not an American citizen. You're an Australian citizen. So just bless me, I'll go and get your license. I said, all right, God bless. He comes back after a while. He says, here's your license, Your Eminence. How'd you get that? I just went to the place, filled in the form, gave him the form, they gave me the license. But what did you write, where you live? I just put my address. But what state? NSW. And the lady there, probably too ashamed of her ignorance to ask what is NSW, North, South, Wyoming or something. It's 50 states. I gave her the license. Things like that all the time were happening in this situation. He was a jeweler to make a little bit of money because that was his only income. And with gold, working with gold, making like rings and baptismal crosses or whatever, you have to use cyanide, cyanic acids and whatever. And because of the place where it was, the administrative centre in New York for the archdiocese, it was full of spies and all sorts of henchmen. So if you're keeping gallons of poison in your room, you become straight away a target if there's anybody that gets poisoned. So where do you think he kept his poisons? Not in his room, but outside in the corridor. So anybody's got access to it. So if somebody gets poisoned, I don't know anything about it, it's all out there. That's the way they operate. They're very smart, worldly wise, but it gets the job done. And one day I was going down the stairs. It's a big mansion actually. It's been converted into this administrative centre. And he was coming upstairs. He had a plate of fish. And he stops me halfway and he says, can you count the fish? So I count, 6 or something, I think 6, 7. So thanks, and he walked off. Okay, next morning there's a big row in the kitchen, which was right in the basement. And they're arguing about Father Nikita stole all these fish. So they called the Metropolitan out as a sort of a judge over it. And they complained to him that he stole a dozen pieces of fish or something. So Father Nikita calls me out. He says, look, he knows how many fish I had. How many did I have? 6. Okay, there you go. You've got a witness. Somebody had 6 pieces, not 12. Sort of thing, all the time, this predictive thing. Whatever he said would come true. People were scared, actually. A lot of people that had like little faith, whenever they saw him, they ran away. Don't say anything about me. Don't say anything about me. I want to know about my future or anything. They'd run away. But others liked him because he was a righteous and a holy man. Anyway, God bless you and protect you in all things. Next week we'll have the service.